so to gacha level no mazim Tony la Chebit. Tatony la Chebit, the Gaji, the Jaji, the Tata Hakojet. Oh, the Hamakonis. Then when children woman did but Tabaji, no way what the world, any Karakari, Kever, she couple. Maro no alternative member, Lumum says, no, children, Sejak, Tiri Sejak, little passage of sushi to the that in all to manner, or Thomas Ayamba, or Tony. Shirato sono tenichendo tino je panjindo ne kajikati jajakati chonganjindo ane jesoki tona gaja che leopard uma toni la kebichi tree trojan jonte jonte jete Jerry Yobato, Zedis, Jerry Kuru, Pombai, and Pombai Yoba and Robert. Deo, Rungini Yoba, Nila, Chaber, you said, Mondo, Mitchell, oh, Chaber, your Jeremiah, Chaberchi, or Memato, Chaberchi, Mator, only Chaberchi, Yobati, Yome, Tennis, Agit, Jeremy Chaber, Ronji. Tan Chevache was called Chipper and Road. Only Kani Mumbat Lawi, only Cheriobato, Yovani, Chabat Nuti, Munded Mikon, drastically, drastic, thought, drastic, many thirsty Shamator. Drastically, not so on. Jawab din chonsa ju tene drastic of the corner but Turkey shaya cover or tino she Turkey sharma toner Turkey totally drastic only Turkey Masher Tony Masher Young Tony la Garno cheeses, then a garno cheese, two to death of them. Me, Mugu cheeses. Marotono, Tonya Kubachimboto, Mubachimbo Yunke cheeses. That garno cheeses, pecker and one. Only these scholars. Only that is Tonya Taylor, Umachel, Gabajin, the Chicheri or the scholars. Tari, any two million downdraws. Tama Mason to know Oma Taritorita, Tele Omala Gaboda with or the Chista Chamboresi, I think. Any downdraw, Novala, Somba, Yemba, Snow was on Atondra. Tony to Rosie, Mebani, Chabayo, Yoba to Rosie, about Chabayo. She, Pashe, Quao, de Colo, Cotter, your chipa, Jata, your chipa, the Cotter to Jata Chipa to Canimandris and the Tato Tasan on the Mandris, Yamba, the Marola, Tanta Nwanda, which is Kiso, Tima Sony, Jito, Tirin, Matunda Mati Turner, so, or Jemata, or Tingo and Mandriga, Kendra with the Chandu. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Or in that on Johnny, she is an Andigan. Not so Tato Tato Taticola, Tato say at Zeka, Zema Pomba Corolla Cogera, Tastatala, Ne, or Kazoto Tasso, Toto Tasso, Tina Tinito, Kazo Maranjita, Namadini, send your memories, Namadin from your memories, Tikatu, Tene. Kazoto Tasso, Tassa Neo. New Ticola, Kazoto Tinin Gene, Kazoto Tassa the Carrera, Toto Tassa Carrera, Tene, Ti tati kolo tashi datsar, ti tato re, yimba re, tato yimba re, tanda yonjo chi shak. Ti tato ti, ane, ti le takarong to tashi se re dana, cho tashi re, pongbo le tene, tashi yimba kakot. Ta, cho kanin roye, cho leka karache yo, cho chi kare, gati devi se, triva triya keche, tin jite tanya ka cheba che tole, cho leka karache yo, cheba che doko, cho slaughter ro nyama nyo, keche che, jite tanya ka cheba che, cheba che so tere. Ta ti membi mada, tashi chawo de gole, ti nyamdala, ronchu tong ke tsu tong, ronshi ji traba che tashi ji chawo le, nyamdala, ti tobatala. Te tobatal te shawo de gole, ronshi ti ni de gole, tashi koro, me tashi ngoma te nyamdala, ti ni te chawo de gole, Tinyamdi Chow de Gola, Maybe Takara won't treasure, Mayba Tashi, Adomba Tingo, Tashi and Basha de Gola. Ta Ti Gola Majane, Tatashi Kandare, Nolo Yoto, Solo Yoto, Tashi, Chokabayo, Goli Yoto, Combali Yoto, Tichen, then Goli Yoto, Combali, Nolo Yoto, Solo Yoto de Gola. Then the Korea, Tosayo, Tamin Ravich, Trakeyo. 아니 담이tam이 차차로 나 내가 보고 같이 저세에서 좀나 제제 초과해서 야타마타 어때 그저도 됐다 티 처로발 그저도 됐어요 그 처로발이요 그저도 됐다 아니 고자도 뭐세 저때 고자도 가르이 있을 때 노로 폼볼이 뭐 타데베 노로로 모자 동케 노셰지 요 생에 고반 때 있어요. 말에 폼볼 저르르 오 말에 너시들 다 너시들 있어 생게데 농반노로 로제바 멘체가 너시들 그저도 있어. 어때 그저도 됐어. 저토마 그저도 됐어. 되게 number danger chena memoji yoji toto ni to tempa jisa number deng kazo to chena oti kazo to ti choro ba ga ti jato tam mare tanda rosu tongge trashi je nong do wa o rosu tongge trashi ta ti ga cha da rosu tongge se na rongi ni traba se na rosu tongge trashi je ti nyam da nong do wa no Tikabayo, Tiona, Nolo Yoto Choloza, Stena, Nonjure, this Yoto Tito Lochester. That total of Jessa, Oma Tony Jessa Lamtri, the Tishindo. Tikabayo, Jabata, Ronto Tonket, the Gora, the Choyo don't know the non-tourists, and they all of Sebos. What did oh, men also that Dari Kitchis or Wallandro Matona, the number one Tinin Zini. Tini, Tanda Samaran, stay with the color on wrong in a wrong in a Yomaka with a Kuruto Yobati Yome. Yuto to Tinyam the Loka or Tiri. That total of Chetato Kazoni Taseta Onius, Tina Tinity one. Say I could take out the Tagol Mayo Tato Tasa Shojo Shoshi, take me but Raja Tom. The Tokanga Arogo and the Tosa don't you trip with him. Tata
Page 43, the third last line. It seems that all these above statements from the treatises relate to people like me, the author of this article, who may have a general admiration for the concept of emptiness and has also sporadically heard about the difference between existence and existence from the object's own side, existence of the vase, for example, existence of vase and existence from its own side. Yet all of this boiling down to a mere verbal distinction between the accompaniment of any actual understanding. Okay, so here what is said is that although we make distinctions, saying that Lama Tsongkhapa made the distinction very clearly between what is to be rejected, what is to be established or posited, the vase to be posited, and intrinsically existence of vase to be rejected, and but in the actual process of negating the object negation, one ends up into the same problem of with those people who the failing to identify the object negation well, and failing to identify the what is to be negated well, and then engaging in the wrong analysis. So many of us also fall into the same trap, and yet all of this boiling down to a mere verbal distinction. So all these distinctions that one makes, saying that Lama Tsongkhapa made this distinction and so forth. So these are just verbal utterance without getting a proper meaning generality, proper understanding, proper concept of this. It is like for many of us, when you talk about the Buddha Vajradhara, it comes to our mind just a pure verbal utterance. It doesn't have any conceptual understanding, which truly reflects what the Buddha Vajradhara is. So it becomes like this. And then also all these mistakes happen because of failing to identify the inquiry, failing to engage in a proper inquiry of the object which is imputed, the inquiry into the object of imputation, and this will be discussed more in tomorrow. And continue reading from where we left here. Yet all of this boiling down to a mere verbal distinction without the accompaniment of any actual understanding, and thus making mistakes when engaging in the analysis of emptiness without having developed a proper understanding of the object of negation. In this connection, I would also like to explain a little bit about how one goes into the inquiry into the object of designation, inquiry or in search of the object of designation, object of imputation. For example, say the vase as the object. This object, when we analyze, or when we investigate, when we inquire into the object of designation, what is designated there, when we inquire into this, there are two modes of inquiry. One is the inquiry or the analysis of conventional analysis, and the other one is ultimate analysis. And just as it is said by Acharya Chandrakirti, that through the 7 modes, we see that the vase does not exist, both in the conventional sense as well as in the ultimate sense. So in this connection, when we go in search of this object of designation, the vase, there are 2 ways of analysis, as indicated earlier: conventional analysis and ultimate analysis, and people tend to mix up the 2. And for example, let's say that somebody asks you to go to or tells you that there's a group of people there, and you go there and give this thing to the boy named Tashi. And then you go there So what you see is that you see somebody there with the five aggregates. On the basis, by dependence on these five aggregates, then your mind impute the entity known as Dashi. So that Dashi, that becomes your object of that becomes the object of imputation that you are looking for. So this is the meaning of the inquiry into the object of imputation. So now you are looking for this Dashi, and so when you meet him, then you already saw an entity, a unique entity, to whom you refer to as Dashi, which is actually imputed by your mind on these five aggregates. Now, if you inquire, what work have you been doing, whether or not you have been to school, these all turn out to be the conventional analysis. Then the next one is okay, so the first part, that with this analysis you have already identified who the person, who Dashi is, and then so with this person now, which we identified as the object to be investigated, object to be the object of the imputation to be investigated, we see that he is a human being, or he is Dashi. That is already you have already analyzed, and you got a person. And there's another analysis alongside this, the person appearing as a human being. This person also appears as the intrinsically real entity. These two they appear to us in mixed, or intrinsically real entity, or as a self-sustaining entity. And so these two things, they appear that this person by the name Dashi, with the name Dashi, appears as a human being, appears as intrinsic reality. These two appear to our mind in a mixed form. Once Rinpoche, when he met with some of the young monks, very little monks, very young ones, and he asked them, who are you? And then these young monks, they identified themselves with their own names. I'm this, I'm that, and so forth. Then where are you? The Rinpoche asked this, and then they were just confused. They were just looking at up, looking down. What to say? They were just confused. So this is this also is in a way is the conventional analysis. They got confused. They could not identify. They could not find where the self is. This also falls in the category of the conventional analysis. And conventional analysis and ultimate analysis, the people get mixed up, and then with the conventional analysis, we think that this is ultimate analysis. And the same, this self, while this self is constituted of the five aggregates, the non-Buddhists, they believe that these five aggregates are there, and separate from the five aggregates, there is a driver-like in the agent, which is referred to as the self. So this also falls under the category of the conventional analysis. And then they say, then within these five aggregates, like the sum identifying the mental consciousness as the self, that is primarily the Buddhists, and this also does not fall in the category of ultimate analysis. This is also a conventional analysis. And so now the point is that as indicated in the analysis, 7 modes of analysis say that when this self appears to you, the self appears, plus the self appears as intrinsically real, or as self-sustaining entity. And now what we need to do is that we need to analyze where is this self-sustaining self. Where is the self which exists as self-sustaining entity or as intrinsic entity? And for this, the moment we go to analyze that this intrinsic self, is it inside the body, outside the body, and so forth, this is where we are going wrong. This this is not the ultimate analysis. We are meant to look for the intrinsically existing self or the self-sustaining self, and this analysis must be then to actually look for what is intrinsic self, not the self to be inside the body or outside the body, and so forth. And I have composed one page on the write-up on this, the inquiry into the object of imputation, as a separate after this teaching. And this is primarily I did it, and I see that this is a great part of my personal the accumulation of merit and the cleansing of my the negativity, so negative karmas.
다른 맞아 고서 용 수티 오미 따와 니 좀 인도네 시행게 요라 따위 제바 마좀 좀더 런케 모드 좀 déternations concert des gens de côté déterna kawa mese de kawa mese omitawani de kawa yese sondoat de kawa mese sondo omitawani te mare mese tons kasana jibane nimitawa never send it in the kawa yeno jiso no somale sombe jeter yemerti tatu sienke mumbo yor kebon mumbo chore tetel ko dire sete otanda tele ti samare sindo oti.
Okay, page 44, the second paragraph. Besides, I've encountered many who would interpret the above statements to refer to those who have found the Madhyamika view, though yet to complete the analysis of that view. Many of those people who engaged in the analysis, the way they they go wrong, the objective analysis or the intrinsic existence which appears to the person, you try to see if that holds true or not by examining if the self exists within the aggregates, outside the aggregates, and so forth. And some people say that through this analysis you get some experience of emptiness or voidness. And some scholars, yes, I also heard some scholars saying that these people, they have found the view, but the view is not complete. It's not a complete analysis. This is what I heard. But continue reading from where we left here in the middle of second paragraph. However, the statement themselves clearly state that that way of understanding is not difficult to arrive at, while at the same time stating that the Madhyamika view is exceedingly difficult to find. So if this is the case, then you will see that in the various standard authoritative texts, Madhyamika texts, you will see the great masters indicating that this kind of analysis is very easy, the easiest one, and so forth. And whereas the Madhyamika philosophy, to really find the Madhyamika understanding of emptiness is extremely difficult or exceedingly difficult. So from this we clearly see that the analysis as rendered in the wrong way. This is in ways of looking for intrinsic self within or without the aggregates. This is not the correct analysis, and the whatever experience of voidness that comes to the individual does not reflect the actual understanding of the emptiness of the Madhyamikas.